Okay, so picture this.
Yeah.
You get that notification, LinkedIn, maybe email, a job offer. Looks promising, right? Especially if it's, development, maybe crypto, something hot.
Exactly. Feels like you've hit the jackpot.
But what if it's not? What if that feeling, that excitement, is actually the bait?
That's precisely what we're diving into today, this thing called Contagious Interview. It's a pretty alarming cyber campaign, and it's linked to North Korea.
Right. It really weaponizes something so normal, a job hunt.
Huh.
It's quite clever in a scary way.
It is. And our goal here, for you listening, is really to break down how this threat works, understand it, and, crucially, figure out how to, not fall for it.
Yeah, we want to go beyond just the headlines, get into the nitty-gritty details that the cybersecurity folks and law enforcement have uncovered.
Definitely. We're drawing on some solid research here. Silent Push did a lot of work. Sequoia and Okta added key pieces. And then there was the FBI stepping in recently.
Okay, let's get into it then. How does it start? How does this legitimate-looking job offer turn into, well, a cyber attack?
It all kicks off with making the fake look real. Extremely real. These aren't those clumsy phishing emails we sometimes see, full of typos.
No, much more polished.
Oh, yeah. Contagious Interview. It specifically targets skilled professionals, developers, engineers, people with valuable access or knowledge. And they use these front companies. Silent Push flagged 3 big ones.
Okay, who were they?
There was BlockNovas LLC, that's BlockNovas.com, then Angeloper Agency at Angeloper.com, and SoftGlide LLC, which was SoftGlide.co.
BlockNovas, Angeloper, SoftGlide.
Oh.
Got it. And you said polished, so decent websites, that kind of thing.
More than decent. Really well-designed websites, professional look and feel. They even set up LinkedIn profiles for the company's fake employees. Some GitHub activity, too, just to make it seem like they're actual functioning tech firms.
Wow, so they're building a whole digital identity.
Exactly. Take BlockNovas. Their site apparently claimed like 12-plus years of experience, but when researchers checked...
Let me guess, brand new.
Pretty much. Domain registered just the year before. And the employees listed. Many just didn't exist online anywhere else. Likely fabricated.
So a lot of effort just to create that convincing first impression.
Right. It plays on our tendency to trust what looks professional, especially on platforms like LinkedIn.
Okay, so someone takes the bait, they reply, they're interested. What's the next step? How do they actually get malware onto the person's computer?
That's where the seemingly harmless request comes in. We need you to download this coding test, or maybe install this browser patch for the video interview, something that sounds procedural.
Ah, the Trojan horse moment.
Precisely. That downloaded file, that's the way in, that's the malware delivery.
And it's not just one type of malware, is it? I read it was kind of a multi-stage thing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a toolkit they use. First up, often, is something called BeaverTail. Think of it like the advanced scout.
BeaverTail. Okay, what does it do?
It's usually a JavaScript loader. Its main job isn't the big damage. It's to sneak in quietly and then phone home. It reaches out to a command and control server, in this case, one identified at liangxingcao.com.
So it establishes that connection back to the attackers.
Right. And once that line is open, it pulls down the main payload. That's often InvisibleFerret.
InvisibleFerret sounds sneaky.
It is. It's a more powerful Python backdoor and pretty versatile. Works on Windows, Mac OS, even Linux. Sometimes they also drop another piece called OtterCookie.
So BeaverTail gets in, calls home to liangxingcao.com,
Right.
and then downloads InvisibleFerret.
That's the chain, yeah.
And once InvisibleFerret is running, what can it do? What's the damage?
Okay, so InvisibleFerret sets up shop on your machine. It's persistent. Then it starts gathering intel. It can grab browser histories, local files, basically hoovering up data.
Data harvesting.
Yep. And it can also set up reverse shells.
Reverse shells. Explain that a bit.
Sure. Normally, you need to break into a system, right? Like picking a lock. A reverse shell is like the computer inside secretly calling out to the attacker and just leaving the phone line open for them. It gives them a direct way in.
So they bypass firewalls and stuff that way?
Often, yes. And sometimes, InvisibleFerret even installs AnyDesk. That's actually legitimate remote desktop software.
Oh, so they use a legit tool against you.
Exactly. It lets them control the computer directly, see the screen, use the mouse and keyboard as if they were sitting right there.
That is deeply unsettling. And there was another malware variant too, wasn't there? Something Sequoia found.
Right, good point. Sequoia identified FroskyFerret. Slightly different delivery. It came disguised as a fake browser plugin, ClickFix, during one of these bogus coding interviews.
So they adapt their methods too. It's not just one fixed playbook.
Definitely not. Shows they're flexible, trying different angles to get in.
Okay, the malware is nasty.
Yeah.
But what about the behind-the-scenes stuff? How do they manage all this? The fake companies, the servers.
Well, that's where Silent Push's work was really interesting. They uncovered a pretty sophisticated back-end infrastructure.
Like what?
They actually found a status dashboard. It was hosted on a subdomain of BlockNovas, one of the fake companies.
A dashboard, like monitoring their own attack network.
Pretty much. It was tracking the status of several of their domains, angeloperonline.online, softglide.co, and that command and control server, liangsingco.com.
That implies a level of organization you don't always see. Like they're running it like a business operation.
It really does, and it gets better, or worse, I should say. On another BlockNovas subdomain, mail.blocknovas.com, they found Hashtopolis.
Hashtopolis, what's that?
It's a tool for cracking passwords. Finding that suggests their goals weren't just spying or data theft, they were likely after credentials, financial gain.
Which connects to the crypto angle, maybe?
Very likely. And we know these attacks have had real financial consequences. There was that case reported back in September 2024. A developer went through a fake hiring process.
They lost crypto.
Yeah, apparently their MetaMask wallet got drained, a direct financial hit. So if you're in that space, you really need to be aware.
And was it just MetaMask they were targeting?
Seems broader than that. Another domain they found, at ispimo.com, hosted something called Cryptoneer.
Cryptoneer?
Yeah, a tool specifically designed to mess with different crypto wallets. Suit, Ethos, Sui. So they're definitely interested in various digital assets.
Okay, so this is running. People are potentially getting hit. Did anyone step in? Law enforcement.
Yes, thankfully. The FBI seized the BlockNovas domain. That was April 23rd, 2025.
That's significant, right? Taking down a key domain like that.
It absolutely is. It's a disruption. It throws a wrench in their works, forces them to maybe regroup, change infrastructure. It definitely slows them down and helps raise awareness.
But it's probably not the end of the story, is it?
Unlikely. We have to remember who's thought to be behind this. The DPRK, North Korea. This isn't just a criminal gang. It's likely state-sponsored.
Meaning they have resources, persistence.
And motivations that go beyond just quick cash. Intelligence gathering, funding state activities through illicit means. So yeah, seizing one domain is good, but the underlying threat group is still active.
State-sponsored. That really changes the perspective. And now I hear AI is getting mixed into this too, making it even harder.
Yeah, that's the really dystopian twist, isn't it? AI is becoming a tool for them. Think about those fake employee profiles.
Right, the ones that didn't check out.
Well, now they can use AI image generators, like Remaker was mentioned, to create totally unique, realistic-looking faces for those profiles. Makes them much harder to debunk.
Oh, wow. So visual verification gets trickier. What else? How else are they using AI?
Okta's research on something they call Wajmol sheds light on this. Wajmol is basically North Korean IT workers posing online as legitimate freelancers to earn money for the regime.
Right, I've heard about that.
Well, Gen AI is apparently supercharging that whole process. They're using it for all sorts of things. Scheduling calls, writing really convincing cover letters tailored to job ads, even real-time translation during calls or interviews if needed.
So it helps them overcome language barriers and seem more professional?
Exactly. And even summarizing conversations afterwards to pull out the key info efficiently. It makes the whole deception operation smoother, faster, and more scalable.
AI as an efficiency tool for cybercrime and espionage. That's something. What about where they're actually doing this from? Any geographical clues?
Trend Micro provided some telemetry data. It pointed towards activity routed through China, Pakistan, and significantly Russia.
Russia. Why is that significant?
Well, the analysis suggests the core of their anonymization network, you know, the VPNs, the proxies they use to hide their real location, seems to be based in Russia.
Based in Russia, okay.
Specifically, they traced connections back to two companies located in Kazan and Khabarovsk, towns in the Russian Far East.
And the significance of those towns?
Kazan is literally about a mile from the North Korean border.
A mile. Wow. Okay. That definitely suggests proximity, potential collaboration, or at least a convenient location. Geopolitics meets cybercrime.
It raises a lot of questions, doesn't it? It highlights how this isn't just happening in some abstract cyberspace. There are real-world locations, international links.
Okay. So this has been a lot to unpack. For everyone listening, let's try and boil down the main takeaways from this deep dive into Contagious Interview.
Sure. I think, first off, the big one is that threat actors are getting incredibly sophisticated. They're moving beyond simple phishing. They build these elaborate, believable scenarios.
Exploiting trust in professional settings, essentially.
Right. Second, AI is now actively being weaponized. It makes the fakes more convincing, the operations more efficient. That's a game changer.
And it's getting harder to tell real from fake online.
Definitely. And third, remember this isn't always just about cybercriminals trying to make a buck. It can be state-sponsored activity. Geopolitics, espionage, funding regimes. It adds another layer entirely.
Okay, so given all that, what's the practical advice? What can you, listening right now, actually do to avoid falling into one of these traps?
Vigilance is key. Extreme vigilance, honestly. Especially with unsolicited job offers, even if they come through LinkedIn or seem legit.
Don't just click, basically.
Don't just click and don't just download. Do your homework on the company. Really research them. Does their website look solid? Can you find independent info about them? News articles, reviews.
Look for inconsistencies, like that 12 years experience on a 1-year-old domain.
Exactly. Be skeptical of companies that seem brand new or have very little independent footprint. And honestly, trust your gut. If something feels off, if it seems too good to be true or just weird.
Pause. Investigate more.
Yes.
Oh.
Pause. Investigate. Don't feel pressure to act quickly or download something immediately. It's better to be cautious than compromised.
Solid advice. It really makes you think, though, about the whole landscape, how fast things are changing with cyber threats, how it connects to global issues, technology like AI.
It absolutely does. This whole contagious interview situation is a stark example of that intersection. Cyber threats, geopolitical maneuvering, AI acceleration. It forces us all to reconsider how we operate online.
So maybe the final thought for you to ponder is this. Knowing how sophisticated these threats are becoming, how state actors are involved, how AI is being used, how are you going to change the way you trust things online, especially your professional life?
Yeah, how do you navigate trust in this evolving digital world? Something to think about.